So, what if I told you that the best tool we have for understanding life, well, it isn't in a philosophy textbook or a science lab. It's actually sitting right there on your bookshelf. That's the pretty radical claim D.H. Lawrence makes in his essay, Why the Novel Matters. And today, we're going to break down his really passionate argument.
I mean, it's probably the biggest question out there, right? How do we actually understand life? For forever, really. We've relied on a few big systems to try and give us the answers.
There's philosophy with all its deep logic, always searching for those big, fundamental truths. Then there's science, right? It breaks everything down into tiny, measurable pieces so we can see how it all ticks. And, of course, there's religion, giving us moral compasses and a sense of a grander purpose. But what if all of these huge, powerful systems are, well, what if they're all missing something? Something really, really important. Okay, so here's Lawrence's surprising claim. He believed the ultimate book of life was something else entirely. See, D.H. Lawrence looked at all this and saw a major problem. He thought that in their rush to create order and find neat answers, these systems were totally missing the point. They just couldn't grasp the messy, beautiful, and often contradictory reality of what it means to just be alive. So what was his alternative? The novel. For Lawrence, a novel isn't just a fun story to pass the time. No way. He saw it as the one and only medium that could truly capture what it means to be human. I mean, that's a huge, radical idea, right? And it's at the very core of everything he's arguing. All right, so let's talk about the problem with systems, or what Lawrence called the killers of vitality. To really get why he put the novel on such a pedestal, we've got to understand what he was fighting against. He didn't see these big systems as helpful guides. He saw them as, well, as things that could actually kill the very spirit of life. Here's the thing. According to Lawrence, life is fluid, It's always moving, always changing. But what do philosophy, religion, and science do? They try to pin it down. They try to freeze it with rigid rules, absolute truths, and cold, hard analysis. It's like they're trying to take this beautiful, flowing, living thing and shove it into a neat little box. And this really gets to the heart of the conflict he saw. Living, breathing experience is fluid and alive, but these abstract systems are rigid and static. Life is felt with our whole being, mind, body, everything, but the systems focus just on the mind. And the result? You get these abstract, lifeless truths that feel totally disconnected from what it's actually like to be a person. And here are his biggest complaints, laid out. These systems, he says, they reduce life to just ideas. They slap on these absolute moral codes, ignoring the fact that we're full of contradictions. They analyze life from a distance, but they don't get in there and feel it. They basically deny the one constant we all know: change. So if these systems are falling short, what exactly are they missing? This is where we get to Lawrence's most important idea, and it's a beautiful one. He calls it the whole man alive. What is the whole man alive? Well, it's this idea that you're not just a brain walking around. You're an integrated, fluid, evolving being. Your body, your spirit, your instincts, your intellect, it's all one package deal. And that package is always, always changing. Let's break that down. For him, body and spirit are totally inseparable. That gut feeling, what he calls our blood and instinct, is every bit as important as a logical thought. And this is huge. Your identity is not a fixed thing. And all those contradictions inside you, they're not bugs in the system, they're features. It's just part of being human. I mean, just think about it for a second. Are you the exact same person you were last year? Heck, are you the same person you were yesterday? Lawrence would shout, absolutely not. Every single moment, every feeling, every new idea, it creates a slightly new version of you. We're always in a state of becoming something new. Okay, so this is where our hero rides in to save the day. The novel. It's the ultimate champion of life because, as Lawrence argues, it's the only art form that can actually handle the messy, complex, fluid reality of that whole man alive. Just look at how it stacks up against philosophy. Philosophy is all about finding that one, fixed, capital T truth. But a novel? A really good one embraces all the gray areas, all the ambiguity. Its characters aren't just symbols of an idea, they evolve. They have second thoughts, they contradict themselves. Exactly like real people do. And it's not just philosophy. He even argues the novel has an edge over other art forms, like poetry. A great poem can nail a single intense moment, right? It freezes it perfectly in time. But a novel can show you the whole river of life. It captures people in the very process of changing and becoming who they are. So, how does it do it? Well, first, it shows complexity. It dives deep into relationships and all that internal conflict. Second, it embraces change. It's totally okay with characters being inconsistent and evolving. And third, and this is key, it integrates all the parts. It shows that messy dance between what we think, what we feel, and what our bodies are telling us. All right, so let's get to Lawrence's lasting legacy. Why does this century-old idea still matter? You might be thinking, okay, this is a cool theory about books, but what does it have to do with me right now? Well, it turns out it has everything to do with us. It's been more than 100 years since Lawrence made this case for the novel. And honestly, in our world, which can feel so digital, so abstract, so systematized, his argument for honoring the full, messy human experience, it feels more relevant and more urgent than ever before. Because really, this essay isn't just about reading. It's a powerful call to action for how to live. It's telling us to value our actual lived experience more than any rigid system or dogma. It's a plea to trust our whole selves, our gut feelings, our emotions, just as much as our brains, and to just embrace the wild, unpredictable ride of being alive. And Lawrence himself said it perfectly. Nothing is important but life, and the novel is the book of life. For him, it's that simple. Life is the most important thing there is, and the novel is where you find it in its truest form. So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. Is a novel just a story, or is it life itself? The next time you open a book, are you just escaping reality for a little while, or are you actually engaging with life in its most complete, most honest form? Something to think about.